Interesting though, conversation, right, that we get to get into where we've known each other for
Long time.
20 plus years, right? Pre kids when we were kids,
Right.
right? And now we're kind of having a conversation about how you're surviving, thriving, like right through fatherhood, trying to be our the best versions of ourselves as good dads, right? And also kind of stay the best version of yourself during that time, right? Be it whatever you're trying to do from career aspirations, but also right, be the best dad you can be. So
We're old.
interesting, yeah. It's a definitely an old conversation to have. Uh, I didn't think 5 years ago we'd be sitting here kind of having this conversation, but happy to be doing it, right? I think it's the best thing we get to do.
Right.
We're
100%.
honored, right?
And I think this is important too for guys to talk about this kind of stuff and dads and open up and tap into the real stuff, man.
That's it.
This is the real.
It actually doesn't get realer.
Yeah.
If you don't know. So we prepared, right, a few questions to kind of start to prompt what we're going through, but high level, right? Just want to hear kind of both of our experiences. I think that the kind of, as you were alluding to there, is it resonates, right? There are plenty of dads out here and people going through similar situations, and men, we just don't talk about these things.
Yeah.
Right. You're just kind of expected to show up and do your thing. You don't complain, right? You just kind of get it done. Not that we'll be complaining here, but that's the point. Gives an opportunity.
Oh, that's what we're doing here. Just
don't
now
have
we're
an
complaining.
opportunity. Yeah.
No, that's what we're doing here today. Oh man,
daddies.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, you have a question for us?
I got a bunch of questions for you. Not that
and Steve's right here with us, man.
Yeah, I'm behind the
dad. Another new dad.
To start it off, we'll go with how did becoming a father change your sense of identity, and what surprised you most about that shift?
Yeah.
I want to take it away.
I'll kick here, but super important moment, right, in my life. But I actually feel like there was an immediate sense of purpose when I became a father, and I think that was something that had always been there. I think I've always been a internally motivated person, but now I wake up every day with a purpose that is much, much greater than myself.
Yeah.
I think I talk to people that don't have children. This is not a slight, but I don't think that you become selfless until you have children. Right. You find a true purpose once they're there. That's much greater than yourself. And I feel that every day. Right. And it weighs on me every day.
Right? Yeah, it's heavy. I agree. The purpose thing, it's immediate. For me, I feel like for us rather, before kids, it was always about our ambitions, right? Our focuses, our goals. And it's still about that. But now, overnight, when that first kid or your kids come into this world, immediately it's about somebody else, right? Your whole world revolves around somebody else. I think that's actually what scares people when they hear things like that. It's like, oh, my life's over once kids come around. I mean, when you hear that, it actually does still kind of like, freaks you out a minute. But I think that now that we're in it, it's the best change. And I don't think it's necessarily a sort of a replacement in a way, or like changes you permanently in a selfish way, but also it's like just a readjustment, and you dive even deeper, and it just opens up these new feelings you never even were able to tap into.
Yeah, there's no love like having a child.
Yeah.
That's also, I think that kind of exactly what you're saying. It's your life redefined.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think that is the biggest thing for me. It was a true sense of purpose, a true sense of, hey, what are you doing every day?
Yeah.
Right. There were definitely times where you can wake up and not have an agenda and a plan prior, but now it's kind of a have to. Right. And I think that the biggest thing that weighs on me is like, what you have an opportunity to create these humans, right? So you get them for a short period of time, and it's your responsibility to ensure that they're going to be productive, good people in the world, and we got to do our best job at it.
And that's the best. That's it. We just got to do our best.
Yeah, that's it.
And also being humans, right? It's also about not being perfect, but just also being the best you could be. And I think we're doing a decent job so far. We're still new. We're still learning.
We're definitely trying.
We're still learning.
Yeah.
That leads perfectly, I think, into one of the other questions that we have written down here. I'm bouncing around. I hope you don't
Okay.
mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
It says
There's probably an order there, but all good. Let's
All
bounce.
good.
there's a little bit of order, but now you guys are talking about, you're getting into it, and it kind of leads to, I think, naturally to this question, which is fatherhood often brings pressure to be everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
Provider, protector, present parent. How do you personally navigate those expectations?
Yeah, that's kind of piggybacking off on what I just said. It's the idea of everything doesn't mean necessarily being perfect, right? I think ultimately, you want your kids to, feel supported, right? Feel loved, feel worthy. But again, us being, there's no blueprint to this either, right? So it's like, you can listen to as many podcasts as you want, or read as many books as you want, but it's you're continuously learning, right? So I think it's just about being open to that and understanding that. But just the idea of everything is just doing the best you can, like we said, and it's not about that idea of perfection, because I think once you attach yourself to that, or try and figure out what perfect is, that's when you lose sight of what really matters.
No, I appreciate that. And I think that this is one of the things I have the hardest time with, is you're trying to create, we're ambitious people. You want to create, you want to do, and then also trying to be present at the same time. I know I found myself, right, phone in hand, and you're playing with your daughter, and they feel that moment, right? And I've definitely I've had my daughter like kind of walk away if I like checked an email, right? Or even like,
and you feel that too, like,
I throw this shit. I like throwing my phone, right? Because I'm like, kind of like, what are you doing? I can answer that email in a minute. But then what I've been trying to do is like separate these times for myself. So when I'm working, I try to work hard. And then when I'm playing with the kids, I try to play hard, right? And just kind of create these moments of full presence and kind of be in it. So now I'm not thinking about, oh, did I not work enough when I was at work? So now I got to answer this email. No, you did it. You did your job. So now you walk in the door and they're trying to play. I'm trying to play hard. Right. And like create all the moments you can.
And also,
it's hard.
It's very hard. But I also feel like, and then kids are like, they're only in that moment. They're only in that present moment. So it's like, if that's wasted, or they feel like you're not there, like you lose it in a way.
100%.
Right. So it's like you want it. They're not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. It's always present. So it's like you need to be 100% there. And I think that's, especially today, hard for us, for me at least, to always be present. That's one of the big, to go back to question number one, being present is also what I've had to work on and learn about myself, right? Like they've taught me to be more present, my kids. And I just think it's important to, obviously, each moment with them, it's that moment with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard in this environment where everyone, you're a text, a call, an email, a Facebook message away from everyone, right? So people send them and you feel like you should be responding, and it's hard to not, right? But when you're in that moment with them, just trying to be present.
I'm guilty of it too. Like again, if we're gonna have this conversation, I'm far from perfect. Like I'll hear
I'm still working.
I'll hear Liz across the room, like, Nick, because like Mila, my daughter, will be kind of pulling out my arm, and I'm just kind of like, and she'll have to check me, and it's just being conscious of that and sort of.
Oh, my daughter says to me, like, put your phone down. Right. But it's not.
See, my daughter's
her voice.
Yeah, you're getting called out.
It's not even her voice. It's in my wife's voice, right? Like, she's just saying, well, my wife says, which is, I think it's probably in some of these questions too. It's like, you have these moments with them where like, they're just receiving everything you're putting out. Right. So now she's hearing what she's saying because of something I'm doing in a situation, and she's repeating it. But like, now what habits are we building? Kind of what experiences are we building?
Absolutely. But again, I just think it's a constant learning situation, right? Always, every day, forever, really, because all these chapters we're in with like, I know for a fact, like, and what scares me is I'm looking at my daughter and I'm like, even this chapter I'm in right now, that's gonna be over soon, which is, I could start, I don't know how deep we're getting, but that makes me emotional, because it's like, even now, and what I'm learning about my daughter in this phase, or my newborn, that changes too. Like every day is changing, so it's hard to sort of keep up with those moments as well, because it's always changing.
I feel like there's like this recurring theme. Do you ever see anybody that's a parent that's their kids are high school plus 20? They always see you out the coffee shop and they're like, enjoy them while they're this age.
Always.
Enjoy them while they're this age.
Every day.
And I'm like, fuck, like that hits me every time. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, all right, I want to enjoy this moment. But then also I try to say to them, do you enjoy them now?
Yeah.
Right. Because I want to know, like, am I also going to enjoy that, or is this over? Right. Is it? Because I've been trying to get myself to like enjoy every stage. Right. Because I know my daughter's not going to be an infant anymore. She's not going to be 2. She's 5. She's in school. We had to go to back to school night.
Yeah,
So it was crazy. And like, but now she's like, I took her to school today, and she wants to be an author illustrator, and she's making a book about bats. And I'm like, what are we talking about? Right. But like, where she's like using the word nocturnal, and she's doing, I'm like, all right, but I just got to live in this moment. No, she's not a baby anymore.
Right.
But like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Right?
See, I'm not ready for
Let's
that.
go.
I'm not prepared for it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's
but
going
you're
to come
trying
quick.
to live in these different stages. So you're not just like, oh, I missed that time.
That's my point. Exactly. Yeah.
Can we be good with the next one?
Nocturnal, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
It
Avery.
was wild. She also was like, there's a lot of like, can you spell this word? And I'm like, we're gonna see if I can. Or
Yeah.
I turned out I was good,
Yeah.
but it was like, you gotta, but I pull the phone out for that sometimes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
How are we flowing?
Flowing good. I mean, I'm enjoying just listening to you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You're further ahead than I am in this world.
Right. I'm watching this guy. We'll pass you along some notes. We're all
Yeah.
there's a little distance here, but
Scary at every stage,
Man.
but
crazy.
So could you share a moment in your fatherhood journey that challenged you emotionally? You're talking about those people coming up to you in the store, and it's like, soak it up, enjoy it right now. Is there a moment that challenged you emotionally, and like, what did you learn about yourself in that moment?
Yeah, for me, I had a moment that challenged me, and I've Nick's one of my best friends, so he knows my son, but the situation that happened recently. But a moment that challenged me emotionally, and I had to check myself. But my son was recently hospitalized, right, for kind of a day, 30 hours. We were in the pediatric intensive care unit, but it was, due to maybe some respiratory viruses, whatever's kind of going around. But he's a 2-year-old, kind of took him over for a little bit. But at 3 a.m., I'm taking him to the emergency room, and it's raining. There's detours on the road. He's like not breathing well in the back seat, so I'm kind of trying to take care of him at the same time. I miss an exit, right? So now we end up like on the other side of the island, and I got to go to Glen Oaks, right? We got to go to Queens. I'm like, it should have taken us 25 minutes to get there. It's 20 minutes from here, right? So I'm kind of like shooting. It's 3 a.m. Like no one's on the road. I'm just going. But we get there, and they take him immediately in the back, and they're saying his oxygen's low. And you could see like this response to the healthcare providers, the doctors and nurses. It just didn't feel great, right? So like that shit started to hit me, and I'm like, fuck you. He's going through this. You couldn't just get to the hospital in 20 minutes, right? Like, because right now I don't know where this goes, right? Is his oxygen going to keep going lower? What's going to happen? And I'm like starting to get on myself, like, you fucked up. Like, what are you doing? And then I kind of had to check myself a little bit because my 2-year-old's in the bed with like oxygen on. I'm like, you got to be strong right now, man. Like, get it together so this kid can see you're good, so he can be good. So I kind of snapped back in, got back to him. But that hit me for a second. That like, I'm not allowed to just be in my emotions right here for a second.
Right.
I got to go make sure he's good. And then once he's good, maybe then I can go sit back on this after for a second. But that hit me for real.
No, and that I mean, I have a similar situation. I mean, I can only imagine what it was like for a 2-year-old, because TJ is a little bit more obviously aware of what's happening. So for me, my newborn, we're going on 2 months now, spent 15 days in the NICU.
Yeah.
You don't prepare for anything like that. I mean, it's common, obviously, things happen. Some obvious babies need, a little extra loving. My son did. He needed a little oxygen support. But, one day turned into 2 weeks, 15 days. So it was very, very emotional, overwhelming, such a roller coaster. But it's crazy, I kept telling myself, okay, he won't remember this. He doesn't know what's happening. So I could imagine sort of what you felt with TJ being so aware. But, the experience for me was I learned a lot for sure. I mean, you want to stay strong still, obviously. Liz was a mess, as you could imagine. You see these babies, they're all hooked up to these tubes and these machines. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah. But again, just one day turning into the next, and it was just kept going. It just seemed like it was never going to end. But, it was just this combination of like fear, but love, and not having control of the situation, also you got to tap into just being patient and trust, right? So shout out to, the NICU nurses and everyone at Huntington Hospital here. They were amazing. But really what I walked away with, and I was thinking about this on the drive over, but, when it comes to strength, I feel like, and being strong dads, I think in that situation especially, strength doesn't always have to be loud.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like strength is just steady, so for that experience and going through that with my family, and even just seeing other parents in there too, other dads in there holding it down, there was this weird feeling of just being strong together, and for obviously the kids, but just a wild experience. And I know, again, I'm not the only one who's been through that. I know my brother, a lot of friends have had kids also in the NICU, but man, you can't prepare for that. You're just in something like that and it's real, but he's good and we're good, but I'll never forget it. That's for sure.
No, but that's real. It's like those moments.
Yeah.
I mean, the healthcare professionals are amazing,
Yeah.
and they do it all the time. So that's why they make you feel good. And there are other people going through it, but for you, it's the most important moment in your life.
Right.
Right. Like, so that's why it feels like that. And that's why it's super emotional.
Yeah.
But
and I think too, they're still there. The nurses just doing it,
going through it
every day. They're doing it. And I'm like, man,
they got to dump that baggage like at the door. I don't know how they handle it. Right?
Crazy, crazy. But yeah, definitely. And again, that's, I guess you don't want any health issues or sick kids. I mean, it hurts your heart, but obviously there's other challenges, that on the daily that we go with as dads as well. But yeah, I think we have a sort of a understanding of what that was like between those hospital visits. Man, it wasn't fun.
And it's also like that never feels like it's part of the trajectory.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys are 9 months pregnant. You're not seeing. You're thinking about your daughter come to the hospital, greeting her little brother.
Yeah, we need to get
going home as a happy family, right? Like it's just like that completely has changed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But having to be able to stand strong in those moments for your wife, your 2 kids now, right? That's I think this is the most important things that we have to do.
No, it was real. I mean, I remember like trying not to cry like in front of Liz or at the hospital, but I get in my car and I'd lose it for a minute and then try and pull it back together to get back inside and be strong for everybody. It was hard. And again, 2 weeks, it's a long time. So it was just emotional, exhausting, and and just like a twilight zone. But obviously, we're past that, and thankfully everything's good. So
I love that.
Yep.
So you talked about, holding it down for your kids, for your wife, for your family. And Nick, you kind of answered this a little bit, but is there a moment in those experiences where you let yourself feel the emotions and maybe let them out, whether it's crying or another way?
Yeah. I mean, I've cried more since my daughter's now going on 2.5, I guess. I mean, I've cried more in these 2.5 years than I think in my entire life.
Something happened.
I don't know. I cry every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've actually tapped into, allowing myself to feel these emotions and be okay with that. I think again, as men, growing up, we're always like, gotta be these macho guys. But I feel like, especially we both had daughters first. Yeah. I think that immediately turned it on for us. So yeah, countless times, countless moments, and I'm okay with that. It's like sort of like I feel like becoming my identity now, just that emotional mushy dad, but that's okay. Yeah. I also think it's a good example to set too, like, being vulnerable and in tune with that.
100%. Right. Like, and I think it's kind of that redefining as well, is that like, you don't have to be super hard all the time, right? Kids should be able to understand that you do too have emotions, right? And that they're allowed to as well, right? So if you're someone that never shows it, how's your son going to expect that he can show emotions, right? And we can say that you're able to, and you can safely go through these phases of emotions, and we'll support you through them all, right? But the crying definitely does happen, right? Especially the daughters kick it on. But like that situation, even in the hospital, the doctor comes in, and I'm a pretty composed person, I think. And I couldn't even hear her, right? It was just like, I'm overwhelmed right now. And that's I don't think that's a state I typically find myself in. I pride myself in like being pretty composed, but like, yeah, like I'm like, you're not sobbing, but there's like a tear like rolling down, like your head's a little hot, and I'm like, I can't even hear you right now. So I had to get it together right, for a second, to be able to talk to this doctor to ensure that we're doing the right things for our son, and then so that he can feel good, right, and the just laying in this hospital bed, right. So because right now it wasn't about me at this point in time.
I mean, I'm also the guy crying watching Dancing with the Stars. So you could imagine how I was.
Stars.
So you could imagine how I was, in the hospital when my son was in the NICU. So it's been a lot of tears.
Yeah. No, something definitely happens when you have it. I think oxytocin levels do pop up. Yep, man, we're gonna start crying when these kids come out. Like, I don't know, like I find myself, ends of movies, and they happen to do with dads and kids.
Oh
and
man, forget it.
I'm like, it's waterworks for sure.
Well, now, I mean, jokes to the side, you understand now some of these
feeling
plots that you've probably grown up, we never really were in tune with. Now I'm like,
I just lived John Q.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Damn, right, crazy.
Yeah.
So bring it back to you guys a little bit, right? We're talking about being strong for families, or letting that emotion out for yourself. But is there a strategy or strategies or habits that you that help you personally stay grounded mentally, in your health, life, work, parenting? They all demand your energy at the same time. Do you have any strategies or habits that help you stay grounded in those moments?
No, definitely. I think that even though schedules have changed, right, your outlook has to be adapted. My strategies stay the same, because I think that's what kind of has always held me down personally. And I know that kind of comes through exercise, being able to move, right, working out, going for some runs. The thing is that it's just the way you get to it changes, right? So you can't go to the gym for 2 hours, 7 days a week, right? You can't just be away. You can't be out. They've got to be structured. They got to be strategic. You got to kind of find your half an hour, 45 minutes. And for me, I know it's when maybe it's early mornings before everyone wakes up. That was before a newborn, because I don't know when he wakes up. Or it's during school or during a nap time. You kind of try to pop out and be efficient to the time when your kids are sleeping or they're occupied, they're doing something, or you're up before them. But I know for me, that's what I need to be able to come back and be a great dad.
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't think strategies so much have changed. It's just, again, prioritizing and finding the time and adapting. Again, like I said earlier, there's no blueprint to this. I think you are constantly learning and figuring it out. I think, though, and I feel like I can say this for the both of us, but just having a little bit more grace with ourselves, right? Just understanding sort of this is, new, and you're not really, every situation is different, but you don't really understand until you're in it. So just having a little bit more grace. I mean, when it comes to balance, some days I feel like I got it all together and I feel like I'm balanced as could be. And then other days balance is out the window.
Yeah.
So it's just being okay with that, I guess. And I struggle with that too. Especially in like my industry, I feel like I'm constantly trying to, keep up with the next man and, always have that hustle cranked all the way up. And, some days I just got to understand that it's not going to be perfect. And I'm not going to have it all figured out, and that's okay. Because again, it's not just about me anymore. Right. So, you got to be okay with that. But, just learning still every day. But again, the anchor, I think, is the gym and fitness, like we always talk about. I think when it comes to having that foundation, for me, I know definitely you speak about it often, but it's just having that sort of sanctuary and that place where we could like let go, whether it's stress or just find a few minutes of peace, whether it be, a quick run or a lift. I think the gym has always been that place for me. And now with kids, even more so.
Yeah, exactly.
So, my wife knows, my mom knows. My mom, if she knows I'm stressed and there's been a few rough days,
she's like, let me get that baby. And go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
She knows it. Yeah. And it's funny. I kind of I've made note of that recently. She wants, because she knows I need it. Yeah. And, it's important, I think. So, definitely, and I'm happy it's that, because I think people could find other ways to let loose, but being in the gym and exercise and wellness and, it's a good place to be.
Yeah. Got to find the good outlets.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
So taking it from the abstract or the concept of burnout to like a real tangible moment, did you have a moment where you were struggling with that balance, struggling with the burnout, and how did you get through that?
I don't know if I've ever burnt out. I think there's good days and bad days. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever burnt out. I do think, in my industry, I'm able to sort of find different ways to be social and kind of have that me time, which I know we'll get into sort of that dad guilt, I'm sure later. But I think that's important to also avoid the burnout
situations.
That's selfish time in a way, so it's important. And I think also the communication with your partner and having that understanding too, where, it's, again, we're all doing this together. We're lucky enough to have, great women in our lives that hold us down. And I think, I know I could speak for my wife, man. She's a rock star. I think she knows if he burns out, the house might burn down. So exactly. She's going to do what she can to, not burn out. So we're going to hopefully we keep that going.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if I've gotten to a moment where it was a complete, I would say burnout, but, when we had our second kid, so we had TJ, we were probably 10 months into opening the gym here. And I just wasn't able to be home, right? Like I was coaching at 6 a.m. Then I was coaching from 6 a.m. till 6:30 p.m.
This is when TJ was born.
Right? So just like not home a lot. And then I would come home and, kids are going down. I'd probably get a couple minutes. But for me, it was almost internally, I was like, I'm not fucking around, right? Like I'm just like, I'm not even a part of this, right? And I think that hit me more. And I kind of started to I was like searching like some podcasts, like trying to hear something good, right? And then I heard someone even say at that point that the fact that you were even looking means that you're doing a good job, right? And I was like, all right, that felt great. All right, I'm good. Let me kind of get back in and give 100% of whatever I can during those times, because I knew it was momentary. We weren't going to always be in that position, but that hit me for a little bit, and I kind of had to resettle myself and kind of get back to giving 100% at work, 100% at home.
Yeah. I think it's different for us, right? Because you being a business owner and a lot of people relying on you to be there and be a part of the success of the business, right? Like me, I'm actually pretty lucky when I think about this, and I've talked about this a lot too, is, with my industry, I'm actually able to be home a lot, whether I'm auditioning at home or it's every week's a little different for me. So I do feel lucky in the sense of being able to spend a lot of time home and wake up with the kids and have those mornings. And I'm very, very lucky. And again, just to backtrack, when I say I'm able to go out and sort of have that social aspect of my life, that's part of the job.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that understanding.
Which sometimes I get to benefit from as well.
Listen, he gets some advice, but he can't, he's got to pick and choose, but so I'm lucky in that regard. But again, I think having great partners and that understand that you need to head down to the gym for a bit, or there's a new client coming in, they want to meet you. I have to go network or go to this premiere, whatever it is. I think the communication and the understanding and that support is what allows us to be successful, and also allow us to be better.
Avoid those
avoid the burnouts, but be that means we're better better fathers, we're present, so it's sort of one and the same, but I think we're very lucky in that regard, for sure.
No, definitely. And that's obviously a big part of it.
Have you had a burnout yet over there? I know you're
Jamie,
you can chime in, because you're
Steve, have you felt any burnout yet?
A little bit with I don't know if it's full burnout like you said before. I think just opening this studio and having to spend a lot of time maintaining the business that I do have, starting this new business, and then having, my wife is still working, so she's in a stressful time of the year for her as an accountant at the end of the year now, and having a 8-month-old at home. They're all, I think, just overwhelm was more the word than burnout. But it comes and goes, It's like I had a shitty day, and then the next day it's fine.
Yeah. We're allowed those shitty days too.
And being able to compartmentalize those things, and then also, it is momentary. It's points in time, right? It's just, all right, can we make it through this time? We know next one's gonna be different. You just got to kind of get through it.
So this next question may be more for you, Tyler. Although Nick, I'm sure with your busy schedule and bouncing around, you probably have a little bit of this too. It's how do you create meaningful connection with your kids in those like small pockets of time
Yeah.
that you do have between work or the audition or the social event that you have to go to, even though it feels cool in the moment. It's like it's time away from family.
Yeah. And just as taking a point on time, I think that is, as a becoming a father, right? That was probably the most evident thing, is that days are super short, right? There's like the saying, right? Like, well, they say days are long and years are short, right? But days are short. They go by very quickly. But I actually appreciate one thing about kids, is that you don't need grand gestures for your kids, right? They appreciate very small, meaningful moments. So as we were talking about putting the phone down, you can turn anything to Disney World with them, right? So I'll take my daughter for a run. It's the best thing we've ever done. We go on the trampoline. It's the best thing we've ever done. As long as you're paying attention and you're locked in, you can make everything the best moment of their entire day. So that's like one thing I've learned, is that we didn't have to go get ice cream.
It could be 5 minutes.
It could be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It can be anything, right? And for them, it is so important, and it means so much to them, right? And you could see it on their face. And then, but the one thing is that, like, when that feels good, right, you gotta stay in that, right, for a little bit, and let them enjoy that. But it doesn't have to be. You don't have to do anything crazy. You just have to pay attention and be locked in. I always talk about intention with my kids. Like, be intentional. Like, when we're crossing the street, we're doing, like, that's for me, right? I need to be intentional in those moments with them to ensure that I'm locked in. Because if I'm just playing, they love it, right? That's all they need, right? It could be blocks, it could be trampoline, or just we're kicking a ball around the backyard. If you're intentional and you're actually playing with them, it's the best moment of their day.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, I feel like your schedule, you have to be a little bit more intentional with that. But I agree, and it's the little things that make. I mean, my daughter, obviously, my son's not really old enough to be running around, but I throw my daughter in the car. We'll be singing now. Yeah. She's starting to sing along to some of these songs.
She's at a concert.
Like we're just having these fun car rides. I'll take her to Whole Foods and we're skipping down the aisles, and it's like I feel like she's the happiest girl in the world. But and then it's the highlight of my day.
Exactly.
And I'm starting to think maybe I don't need much either, right? Because it's like I'm happy at Whole Foods or wherever.
100%.
So it's it's awesome, and I agree. I think it's just about just being intentional and present, and it's those little moments though that matter and make the difference. But and also I think what we talked about even when we had our first was just the time management thing, right? And that is a struggle and constant effort that we have to be conscious of too, is just making that time, because again, it could just be 5 minutes, but these days do go by fast.
It's hard to get
it's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, man, and then you feel guilty, and you're like, so you just gotta be intentional. I think that's the bottom line.
And I think that it might lead us into something, but there was like a thought, because with this, you do need to be intentional with your kids, with what you're doing for them, with the time, because they care so much about these moments. And I think there was one thing that I did learn was, like, you got to watch kind of what you're doing, what you're saying, how things that you're presenting, because they're sponges, right? They take it all in. So if I tell my daughter, hey, later we're going to do this, later comes and we're not doing that, like, she feels that.
Yeah. Not
right?
there just yet. You're a few steps ahead of me.
It's real, right? And it's not like she's making me feel bad, but like I feel, but like, and she remembers, right? Because like we're saying, it's not grand gestures, it's small things, small moments. If we were saying, hey, we're going to take a walk around the block, and now I get stuck on a call, she's like, where are you? Right? Like, how could anything be more important than this walk we were about to do? Like we did a 3-mile bike ride. She was on a bike. I ran next to her. I'm like, we're doing this every week. You know what happened 2 weeks after that? Like, we had everything happened, right? Like, we had a birthday party. We had this. I had to go run out for a meeting, right?
Run.
And then, can't even get out for a run. It's like, so like, and then she's like, I thought we were running, right? And I'm like,
check you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, if you're going to say these things and do these things, you have to be that guy, right? Yeah. Show up for them, continue to hold your word.
I'm not there just yet, but I know it's coming, and I'm a little nervous about that.
Yeah.
You know,
when she could actually hold you.
I mean, I feel bad like seeing you and the guys when you leave your kids who are a little bit older, like crying when like where's daddy going? Like I'm not there just yet. I'm gonna be.
We had a moment which is actually a cool story. We all took our families out to, we're in Montauk this year. All the kids and like the dads took a moment. You know, like we
need our 5 minutes
we
too.
had to go grocery shopping.
Hey, we need our 5 minutes too. You know,
we didn't have our 5 minutes to work out, so the dads took 5 minutes, you know, to go do something else. And it was like as it was happening, so another friend of ours, our kids are all running to the door, like crying. The dad's not to leave, and we're like, damn.
meanwhile, I'm just sitting there like, oh, can we go now?
Can we go?
You know? I know. I'm not ready for that.
That's a whole different feel when they can start expressing to you the things that they're actually feeling. It's tough,
man.
On that note, have you ever struggled with the dad guilt? So, you know, taking time for yourself in any way, shape, or form, health, professionally. You ever felt that dad guilt that comes with leaving them at home?
Yeah, I have, definitely. I mean, again, your kids are a little older, so I feel like you might
they can just verbalize it
more,
but feel.
But I still feel it. I mean, also it's crazy because my work is sort of like always like
it's when you
fun.
go away. Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's like sometimes when I'm at these events or, you know, different.
It's like daddy just got paid for this.
But I'm right. But I'm thinking to myself, I go, I'm having fun here. Like I wish my kids could be here.
Yeah.
And like my family is here with me, but it's so there is that, and I don't want to miss anything either at home too. Cause I feel like now, especially with my daughter who every day she wakes up, she's saying something new. She's, you know, I'm like, what? It's happening so fast that I don't want to miss a thing, you know? But yeah, when I'm away filming or if I'm in the city for some events, and it's, you got to remind yourself, all right, like you're doing your job and this is a part of the gig, but it's also like, man, you know, it's hard.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel it. I also read somewhere like dads that feel that guilt are the ones that care the most. So I remind myself of that too. I'm like, all right, it just means I'm madly in love with them.
Yeah.
So I'll remind myself of that too, but it's a real thing for sure.
Yeah. And I think the crossover is that, sometimes your work might be you're on a red carpet somewhere. Sometimes my work is that I got to stay out late to go, you know, just do a presentation or be down at the gym or doing something, right? And you definitely do. I feel it like at bedtime, you know, if I'm missing like bed and bath time, because that's usually like I'm usually home at 6:30, 7. It's like, all right, maybe I missed the entire day, but if they're gonna go, and that was kind of going back to the time period where we were opening the gym, was like I remember I wouldn't see them for like 2 days. Right. Because I was leaving at 6 a.m. and then I'm missing beds. And like those moments I felt super guilty.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, I obviously can't go home during the middle of the day. And not like my kids are just waking, they're just living a life where they don't see me for 2 days. But, right. I had to check with myself again. Like, all right, I'm working, I'm trying to create something. And again, this is a moment in time that we'll get through. And when I do have that moment with them on Saturday and Sunday, I have to lock in, right. And make it intentional.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the bedtime thing is real though. Like that bath and bed. If you miss that, it's just like
over.
Gut punch.
You know? Like
you
just
like,
found ourselves like, right.
It's like no, it just feels different.
It's an hour and a half block.
Man.
You couldn't be around for this, you know? And it's tough. But like, and then if you miss it, you gotta wait. You're waiting until the next morning, right, to see them. Right. And sometimes you got to run too. And like now that could be only 10 minutes you see them right in the morning before you're popping out. So it gets tough.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the values or lessons from your own upbringing that you want to pass down to your children?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think with me, it's mainly around the importance of family, continuing to cherish and appreciate the relationships you have with your family and continue to keep those blocks and those foundations strong, because I think that I love my friends and the people that you have, but I think that people that come from strong familial backgrounds, that families that are coming together, they always feel the most supported, right? So I want to keep those traditions, that kind of connection around for my kids.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, I was lucky enough, my parents, you know, instilled just great values in me and my brothers. And I think now, especially, I mean, now that we are parents, like, you know, you see your parents in such a different light. It's the appreciation is crazy, you know. And every day it's like you appreciate them more and more because it's like, man, how did they do that? You know. But again, it's simple things though. It's about, you know, just integrity and kindness and just, you know, my prayer is to have those little things, but the big things, right, that get carried along, and just even something like just the importance of the way how you treat people, you know. I feel like my parents made a huge effort daily to just remind us about, you know, those simple things that are the things that make somebody's day or make you feel like you were that. I'm fucking this up, by the way. This is my ex. I lost my but anyway, my parents definitely instilled a ton of amazing values in my brothers and I. We grew up constantly just treating people the way we wanted to be treated. We knew that it was the simple things, just kindness and integrity, right? So those are the things I want to pass along for sure. And again, it could be something even just about the way you treat people and the importance of how you go about, you know, making someone else's day. I think that's the kind of thing you lay your head down at night and you feel like, man, like you made a difference. I don't know. I lost that one, but we'll come back to it.
I think it was there.
I thought you got it on the
I had it, and then I lost it, but whatever. I forgot where I was bringing it. But
yeah.
Anyway,
I think that kind of like almost brings it back too, in the sense of, I saw that there's like all these stats that kind of go around. I saw one today that literally said that a child's brain is 80% developed by the time they're 3 years old, right? I thought that was super interesting because it was talking about the things that you're doing in the house to create this person, right? That, and there's also kind of like the thought of like kids are, it's nature versus nurture, right? You're creating these people that are going to go out into the world one day, right? Cool. So if you can be in the house and these are the values that you do have, right? So you're creating hopefully kind people with integrity, people that are go out looking to help people, right? Like that's our job.
Yeah.
If you neglect those things, you're creating someone that's on the opposite of that side. Yeah. So yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, 80%, man. I think I used the excuse for, wasn't it like our frontal lobes?
I think that was,
So when I think our frontal lobes just
like
developed.
Like men's frontal lobes don't develop till like 35.
Yeah, like that was my excuse for a long time. I know. I think didn't that just happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man.
Don't fact check me.
That's funny.
On the same note of values, is there anything that you would want to do differently or hope to do differently than your own upbringing for your kids?
No, not really. Not really. Again, I think my parents did an amazing job. Again, at 35 years old, understanding a little bit more of what they did for my brothers and I and what they went through for my brothers and I, like, man, it's really incredible. And I think they did an amazing job. And if I could be, you know, my dad actually grew up always saying, like, I want you to be better than I ever was, you know? So yes, like, I want to be better than my dad. Okay, great. Now I want my son to be better than me, you know, and I want my daughter to be better, you know? So it's like, sure, you know, do you learn from certain things? You know, again, I look at my parents, they didn't know what they were doing either.
Yeah.
Now you understand that, right? I think for the longest time, you think your parents got it all figured out. Like, but they were also just kids too that, you know,
had kids and had to figure it out.
Right. So, you know,
I think there's a big shift when you become an adult and you look at the adults in your life and you kind of have that moment and right now I always kind of think about, right, that I was 30 when I had my first child, right? My mom, I think, was 27 when she had me, right? It was like, oh, this was just a 27-year-old kid, right? That had a child and had to figure it out. Yeah. And now she happens to be 60, right? But to your point, you always look at them as they seem like people that had to figure it out, but they had to figure it out the same way
they had to figure it out. And like, they were just doing the best they could.
Yeah.
You know? So of course, like, were there moments now looking back, I'm sure could they have done something better, or again.
And I'm sure my kids will look back on
great job.
What's in our lives. And I think that's it. It's like, are there things that you want to do differently? It's hard, right? Because I think the same way you felt answering that question is, I think that, so my father passed early. My mom did an amazing job. She did literally everything that she could, right? are the things I think that my kids may have a different experience because hopefully I just get to be there, right? As my father passed when I was 11 years old. So hopefully that experience is different for my kids than it was for me. But my mom did everything she could, right, to create someone that could be sitting in this chair today. And we're appreciative for that.
Yeah. Shout out mom. And I mean, it's wild to think about, but we're very, very lucky in that sense.
I think one thing that I would like to focus on, right, with my kids is just like more consistency of events, right? So kids they build their childhood on these milestones. So think about the things that you did consecutively over and over, right? Those are things that are going to mean so much to them, and that's kind of where your childhood's going to be built on. So I try to find these moments or these things that we're doing, right, consecutive. So every winter you do this, and every spring you do this, and they don't have to be, again, like grand gestures. They don't have to be huge,
just
but things that they can revert back to, and they can say, "Oh shit, I had a great childhood."
Right.
I remember going kayaking.
Yeah.
We did that every summer.
Yeah.
I remember going fishing. I did that every summer with my dad.
I mean,
right? Like, what are these small things that I'm trying to find that? Because I think that's a big thing so we don't have time, right, to even spend, and then you don't even have time to kind of think about doing new things. So I'm trying to like bake in these things that I could say, all right, next summer, we're just going to start this thing. Right?
Traditions, experiences.
Something that we're going to do, but you almost have to plan for it.
Yeah, no, you do. I mean, my parents were good. They did a good job at that too. I feel like now I'm thinking back to my childhood. It's like, we always did this, did that. Yeah, no, it's, I think it's important. It makes a difference. And again, just now being a little older and understanding that, your mom just did an amazing job. My mom and dad both just, really just worked their butt off, and the 4 boys, man, it's crazy to think about. But again, love and appreciate my parents now more than ever. So
thank you.
When your kids are older and they look back at the example that you set, same way that you were just looking back at your parents right now, what do you hope they'll say about the man that you were and the life that you lived?
That's kind of deep for sure. I think, again, I'm learning still about who I am. I think now with kids so young, I'm learning, they're teaching me even about who I am. So I think I've changed in so many ways, even in the last 2.5 years. I think, obviously one day I want my kids to say, my father, taught me to, love with no limits, right? Dream big, with no hesitation. Just really at the end of the day, just was an example of hard work and a good human. Yeah. I think is really, if I'm going to keep it cut and dry, I think I could really go even deeper, but
for sure,
I just think from sort of surface level, I mean, I think that would make me sit back and say, okay, I did it right.
100%. Yeah. I hope one day my kids are older and we've said we've done a great job, right? They're kind of saying, my dad was there. He was always there, right? From a support standpoint, physically, emotionally, whatever it was. Yeah. Like he was there for us, which allowed them to be able to strive to be whatever they needed to be, right? I think for me, my entire mission has always been to be a bridge for my family, for my kids. Hopefully I get to give them that access to the things that they want to do. And if that is, right, you want to reach towards whatever heights you want to do, you have support here. And hopefully giving them the motivation to want to do and strive for those things. But ideally they're saying physically, mentally, emotionally, my dad was there. I remember hearing a little while back someone talking about how their dad just literally said, like, I love you, how's your day, every night. Yeah. Right? That's something I try to do. Even, they don't even know that I'm doing it, right? But I'm just kind of just trying to be there, right? So every night they go, they know dad cares, and I understand how they are, what they're doing, and they know that I love them, right? And that's the key for me.
Yeah. We'll have to have part 2 of this in 47 years.
Yeah, exactly. Kids fucking hate
That's
us.
how things work out. All right, so my kids haven't talked me into it.
Exactly.
No, we're doing a good job, man. I will say this while we're here. You're a little bit ahead of me. We have some other guys who've had kids, before me, but while we're here and we're talking, you've been a great example as a father, especially, you know, being a business owner, you know, juggling so many different things. And to watch you be a few steps ahead of me, I feel like I have a little bit of a cheat code because I'm able to see you be a great dad, a young, healthy, excited father, and being around guys like you and, you know, Ryan and some other guys in our crew is a blessing in itself. I feel like I'm constantly learning through the good and bad of you know what parenthood is all about. But you know, it's cool to say that, you know, we're doing this together and we got a crew of guys who are you know, new dads, and it's fun, man. It's fun.
It is fun, and obviously I appreciate that. And brother, I love seeing you right with the kids, and I think that we are fully embracing this moment, which I appreciate and love seeing that on you. But then also just there is this, I keep going back to this term redefining, but generations ago there were uninvolved dads, right? That is not us, right? We're in the game, and I love seeing you out there and kind of doing it with your kids, right? Like you'll see Nick just driving around the village with his daughter, right? Just like she's always in the back seat, right? I love you're popping in everywhere with her, right? And that just isn't something that dads always did because it didn't seem like it was a part of something that they do, right?
I think also the idea of you know, it's not just about being a provider anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now it's about being present.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, that's very important and what I'm trying to lean into. And, you know, times have obviously changed, but I think I kind of wake up every day with that in mind. Like, let's take advantage of these days and these times. Something that makes me sad is like, I put my daughter to sleep every night and it's like, how many more days do I have of carrying her into the crib?
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, just cherishing every little moment, man, and being, doing our best, like we said. And I think we're off to a good start. So, you know, still learning, but we're in it.
Trying to stay in it though every day, do our best.
So, man.
And again, I think that goes back to the entire topic is as long as you're here, you're trying to do your best, you're present, you're doing enough, right? You care.
New dads, man.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I want to ask one more question.
Yeah. Yes.
We could end it there if we want to.
Well, we did. I think we did pretty smooth. I had one hiccup. I'm gonna have to ask that. But.
That's cool. I took a note on it.
You had a bunch of. I mean, I think
Whatever.
that you said it and then you kind of retract.
Well, you made note of that. Man.
I made note of it. I put it in the actual notes with the timestamp and everything. My question for you, Nick, is there something that I didn't ask you about fatherhood that you wish I did?
No, I think we covered sort of everything I had in mind. I mean, one thing I will say is just because I feel like there's a lot of people we know who aren't ready for it. So the question I always get is like, were you ready to be a dad? You know, and I don't know if you're ever ready, you know. And again, I think people get scared of the idea of becoming a father or having kids. It is life-changing, you know. But again, back to the first question, I think that it's not so much about replacing your life, it's reshaping it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I guess for those listening that are, you know, kind of wondering if they're ready for the next step, I just think you're never gonna feel necessarily ready. But I will say that when you do become a father or whenever that time is, it's the best thing ever. And this is the best chapter of my life. I could say that. And has only changed me for the better in so many ways. So I'll end with that.
Same question for you, Tyler. Is there anything that you wish I'd asked you about fatherhood or about life that I didn't?
I do agree. I think that we hit a lot of really good topics. I think for me personally, fatherhood, not that it's been harder than I think others, because I didn't really have a blueprint, right, of what it looks like. But to your point, no one's ever ready. Blueprint's always changing. Your kids are different. Like even if my father was able to be around for longer, I could have been a different kid than my kids are, right? So the response is always different. But I felt like for me, the hardest thing for me was that I didn't have a blueprint to rely on to say, oh, this is what dads do, right? So I just kind of had to create that every day. And for me, it was just showing up, trying to be my best, and I'm kind of trying to get better every day.
Where did you get the blueprint that you do have, or the pieces that you do have? Where'd you get that from?
The blueprint that I do have is trial and error. I try things out with my kids, and they respond if that was good or bad. And my wife has been really good. She's a very good parent.
Yeah, no, well,
Better than me.
Yeah.
So, so like I've been able to even just see how she responds in situations, right? Because I didn't have those moments, right, to be able to rely on, like, oh, this is how a stable fucking person in this situation will respond. I mean, I did have my mom, but like a dad from that side, Ma, you're stable. If you have your Steve, cut that out. But no, in the sense of, I think the blueprint comes from the family structure that we have currently, and trying to just be there, be around. And my main blueprint is just stability and presence. And if I can do that, I'll learn everything else as we go through it. And just trying to add on and be the best that I can be.
Very cool. Very cool. I think, to echo what Nick said, obviously I'm not as close as you are. I don't have the history that you guys have, but from the outside looking in, it seems like you got it figured out and that you're doing a great job. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, I hope you feel that way yourself.
Thank you.
We're trying, man.
Yeah. I guess you don't know until they turn like 18, right?
Man, yeah, I think
someone offers them their first cigarette. What do they say?
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. You're good. But
no, it was good.
My daughter went to school and they started talking about boyfriends and shit. And I'm like, what is this? What we're doing now? Like, so no, the kid, he doesn't go to the school anymore. She got rid of him.
He's in the trunk.
I'm gonna add, I've let him out to play every once in a while.
Man.
But no, but it's funny how fast these things happen. I'll say two things, and that's probably not recording. But one, like my daughter goes to like pre-K, kindergarten. They start talking about boyfriends. Two, she went to one birthday party and she came back saying 6, 7, and I was like, "What is this? Is this how it works?"
He's 5 now.
5.
Yeah. So you're right.
And I was like, "What is this? The world now? Like, I got to do. This is what we're in. Like, I have like a 13-year-old."
Hey man, once my
It's
daughter
gonna be you,
though, we'll be TikToking. Oh man, yeah, we're gonna be doing all the dances.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why the kids can't go over to Nick's house. They're gonna have their own TikToks.
I have to have you guys sign releases because I'll be having all the kids as my background dancers. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
All good. That was good.
Yeah,
that was good.